Welcome inside of Turner Gymnasium for what seems to be a very exciting night of basketball here for Lynchburg men's basketball, taking on the visitors from Washington and Lee. A Code Red Wednesday night. Andrew Watson alongside Sam Graham. Sam, Washington and Lee in a great spot in the conference right now, sitting in that fourth spot. A couple of big games, including this one. The environment's going to be crazy in here, and Lynchburg is looking to advance themselves up that league table. What do you think they need to do today to figure that one out?
Well, first things first, I think you said it perfectly, Andrew. You got to rely on this home crowd. We're expecting a really big one. Obviously, Valentine's Day, is there a better day to have a Code Red? You know, red, pink, the colors of Valentine's Day. Those are the colors in the stands below us. Hopefully there's a lot more red than blue if you're a Lynchburg fan. And again, Lynchburg, last time we saw them on this home court, they were playing Guilford, one of the top teams in the country, and that was a game that was a lot closer than the 13-point disparity may lead you to believe. I think the biggest thing we're going to have to watch today is there are two teams that can be a little careless with the ball at times. Turnovers are something we'll be tracking a lot today. Turnovers as well as fouls. Can Lynchburg go at some of these bigs for Washington and Lee? They've got a handful of them. They got Robert DeCibio, perhaps my leading candidate for ODAC Player of the Year. They got him in foul trouble, but were never able to foul him out when these two teams met earlier in the year. If they can really go at him today, get him in a little bit of trouble, that goes a long way to helping their odds.
These two teams met already one time this year. It was an 88-73 win for the Generals. But we will see how this one turns out when we return here to LHSN Code Red Wednesday night, getting ready to get the tip-off when we return.
Football has taught me a lot throughout my life. It's definitely had a huge imprint on who I am as a person. Competing at a Division III level created that opportunity for me to go to college. Not only was I the first one in my family to graduate college, but I was really the first one to even go. Being the first one, I'm breaking that cycle, and now that I've graduated, I'm not sure what's the next step, but I know I have a lot of doors open. And a lot of those are open because I played football and ran track here at Otterbein.
Living the dream. USA, Mexico. That was so exciting.
Lynchburg is all about you, your ideas, and your goals. We've got one professor for every 10 students, so you can get all the support you need. In the classroom, in the lab, or in nature. You'll learn by putting yourself out there, and we're right there with you.
Welcome back on LHSN. While the starters are getting announced out there on Wayne Prophet Court, it gives us a chance to look at some of the stat lines coming into this contest. Both teams scoring around the same rate, giving up amount of points is pretty equal there, Sam. And then even kind of turnovers, you mentioned it earlier, that's going to be a big part of this game. But the three-point percentage equal, everything on this table seems pretty equal. So what really stands out between these two teams?
Again, I think it's situational basketball, right? Lynchburg's had a couple of blowouts that help some of their stats. But, you know, all in all, these are two teams that can play a very even game. We've already seen it once. Lynchburg led Washington and Lee at the half, 43-41 when they met earlier this season, led by as many as 7 in the second half. This is a Lynchburg team that can go with a very, very good Washington and Lee team that's trending upwards at the right time. And, Andrew, I think obviously there's 3 very key players for this Washington and Lee side. Those are Harrell, D'Entremont, and DeCibio. Most likely Washington and Lee is going to have the best player on the floor tonight. The last time these two teams met, they had the 3 best players on the floor. Lynchburg cannot let that happen. Whoever Lynchburg's guy is tonight, they've got to be able to match up with at least the 2 and 3 for Washington and Lee. Lynchburg, nobody scoring over 10 points per game right now. Be a great night for Miles Taylor, DeAndre Ross back in the starting lineup, whoever it is, to go out and have a good one.
Yeah, last time these two teams met, mentioned earlier, a big win for Washington and Lee in Lexington, Virginia. But in that game, a couple interesting points. Don Tremont, 31 points, 11 boards. DeCibio, 22 points, 6 rebounds, went 8 for 14 from the field. Harrell had 13 points and 8 boards in that one as well. They also made 11 threes in that contest. If Lynchburg can defend the perimeter well, they're going to have a good chance, but it's going to be that guy for Washington and Lee. Jack Dontremont had 31 against Lynchburg. Mentioned that earlier, but he is really kind of the guy that puts everything together. Obviously, you talk about DeCibio. You obviously like him for an ODAC Player of the Year, but Dontremont being one of the best secondary options in the conference, 16 points a game. And then on the other side, Jason Easton is going to be the key for you today.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, for Washington and Lee, it's one of those cases where your number 2 would be the number 1 on most teams in the conference. Maybe not Guilford, Randolph-Macon, some of those top tier teams, but he is certainly a very skilled player that can hurt you really at any spot on the floor. And Lynchburg's probably, I mean, they're going to have their work cut out for him with these bigs for Washington and Lee. But like we said, they can hang in there. And, you know, Andrew, you pointed out something earlier that I think is important. Obviously, a Washington and Lee team that's really trending upwards, 4th in the conference right now. They're looking at a first-round bye in the ODAC tournament. Lynchburg likely going to have to go on the road in the first round to play their way into Salem. Right now, they're lined up against Roanoke. And although Lynchburg's come in tonight on a 6-game skid, you got to remember where they were at this time last year. All hope was lost. They were not making the ODAC tournament. You're in a better spot. You're trending upwards. Think about that, not the losing streak. It's a great night to get right.
Does give us an opportunity as the first tip's going off to run you through the starting lineups. You saw it on the screen there. Laughlin, Ryan, Harrell, Dontremont, and DeCibio. And then on the other side for Lynchburg, Jake Hart, DeAndre Ross, Jonathan Faust, Cam O'Connor, and Pearson Young round out that starting 5. Top of the key, getting things started with DeCibio. Met with a double team, kicks it to the corner, a 3 in front of the Lynchburg bench, a little bit too deep, in Hart on the rebound. Nearly lost his footing on the slip. It's Lynchburg pushing.
Spacing wasn't fantastic on that first possession for WNL.
Maybe something early that we see there. Faust stepping over to apply that double team on the elbow, a spot that DeCibio's comfortable from. Lynchburg obviously knows it quite well. O'Connor, a 3 to get things started. No good there, and the rebound in the hands of Colin Ryan.
And he's gotten that release a little bit quicker. Didn't see it as much there. He kind of loaded that one up because he had some space. But O'Connor can get his shot off a little quicker these days.
High ball screen creates space for Harrell to come off a little bit of a jump shot there from the free throw line. Can't hit. Hart, lots of space top of the key. The shot you dream of, and Lynchburg off to a good start. 3-0 here. They're on the board first.
They call him Brett Favre because of the way he dishes it out. But don't get me wrong, he can score a little bit as well.
Hart's had a couple of great games last couple of times out. Obviously mentioning that Guilford game, played really well in that one. Inside, goes up, was tipped by someone. Maybe it was Hart. Adjusts the headband, takes it off and throws it towards the feet of head coach Hillary Scott for Lynchburg. Then a travel called against Hart on the other side.
But on that point of Hart, Andrew, he had a fantastic first half in that Washington and Lee game as well. Wound up finishing with 17, most of them in the first. And he did a great job getting to the cup, driving through the lane. Had more paint points than Robert DeCibio in that first half.
Hart, a guy who dishes out just short of 3 assists a game, but has really shown he can get it done on the offensive end in terms of scoring in a couple different opportunities. Inside, DeCibio up strong. That one no good. Gets his own rebound, and a foul is going to be called. Looked like it should go against Cam O'Connor for Lynchburg.
Yeah, and you want to talk about guys that might have their work cut out for them on the defensive end. Nobody more so than Pearson Young, often tasked with whoever the biggest offensive threat is for the other team tonight. That is Robert DeCibio, but he's given up about 3 or 4 inches in that defensive matchup, so see if he can hold with him.
Correction on that last one. Foul given to Pearson Young. Good stop there from O'Connor on Harrell. Washington and Lee showing what they want to do early in this contest, getting the ball inside, and Lynchburg pushing. Great board there from Faust. He puts it back up and in strong. Not much Dontremont could do there under the basket, and it's 5-0 Lynchburg. Off to a hot start on this Valentine's Day Code Red Wednesday night. Harrell 3, rims around and out. Rebound to Jake Hart. Ross driving, dishing. Harrell goes up and stuffs Jonathan Faust. It would have been a hot start, maybe even issued a timeout. A 7-0 game would feel a little bit more different. 5 inside, not able to get it there. And it's taken away by Hart once again, and Lynchburg continuing to push.
How about Faust early on, making the plays? That is Faust's game. The offensive rebound, the putback, doing the dirty work inside. He's so tough, so good down there. He's taking a lot of threes as of late. That's not so much his game. He's feasting right now down low. He can go up and rebound with the trees.
2 offensive rebounds and 4 points in the early going for Jonathan Faust. WL not on the board yet, but when we come back, we'll see the remainder of this first half. 17 minutes and 15 seconds left. 7-0 is our score on LHSN.
Today's a rough day. Jess and I are officially on a break. The couple canoe has broken up.
How you feeling?
Living the dream.
Just canoeing. That's the Mexican side behind me. The U.S. is
Welcome back. Things underway after that timeout for the Generals. Still looking to get on the board for the first time in this contest. Nearly a 3-minute scoring drought now. Trying to move it inside. Ryan backing down Hart. Poke, no foul in, but a good look from the corner. Not even close there. That one hits the side of the backboard, and Washington and Lee struggling a little bit. Maybe it's the environment. Maybe it was the warm-up, but thus far, Washington and Lee not looking like themselves. Harrell inside, and Hart with the block.
The crowd appreciates the defensive effort. Jake Hart getting up there and blocking Drew Harrell. Again, Harrell, not exactly one of the big guys, but he does sometimes play that sort of combo, that wing type role, and he's a tough player. He's put on a little bit of weight, all in muscle over the offseason. He's gotten up to about 188, so it's not an easy block to make, especially coming from behind.
He did a good job after Harrell got by him to recover and get a hand on that basketball. Driving for the first time today, Robertson gets it inside. Double met here, trying to get it to someone, and it's Neuenhaus who grabs it. And that will be the first time Washington and Lee gets on the board in this contest, 7-2.
Yeah, Andrew, I'll tell you what, Neuenhaus is one of those guys I really like when you talk about a younger guy. Washington and Lee with those 3 seniors, the main guys that we talk about, they haven't expected a ton from their first-year players, but Neuenhaus has really showed up, and he's got that great frame, 6'9". I mean, that's rare to have in Division III, a guy that's that stature but also plays the way that Neuenhaus can. And, hey, he can shoot the 3 a little bit as well.
Especially being that first year, so much time for Neuenhaus to grow. A.J. Thomas, now near side Harrell, top of the key, trying to dance around O'Connor, but good defense by the transfer student. Hart nearly took that one away as the pass tried to get to Robertson, but it goes out of play. 7 seconds on that shot clock.
I guess we should expect Hart to have a good day on Valentine's Day.
That would make a lot of sense. Not something I really thought about before the game, but, you know.
I'll give the credit to Lynchburg Sports. I did steal the idea from them.
Always good information over there. A 3 there. Neuenhaus no good. You mentioned he's a good 3-point shooter. Got an open look. Can't hit on his first opportunity. Faust inside. But what an incredible find by Jake Hart, pushing it down the floor, and Faust just filling the lane correctly. 9-2 is our score.
It's interesting where those gaps fall. Lynchburg had 38 paint points in the first meeting. Some of those are going to be there, whether it's off an offensive rebound or just sort of a lapse in defensive judgment on that last possession.
Thomas took a good look from behind the arc, couldn't hit, and then no foul on that one. Faust pleading his case. Ross then called for a foul as Robertson tried to dance along that sideline.
Yeah, and Faust pleading his case there because most of the time he goes to that move, it works, but Ryan just patient, goes up, waits until, Faust sort of has to release it and then gets the block.
Seen a couple of great defensive plays on either side of the ball tonight. That just another one to add to the list. A couple of changes here on the floor. Trey Gillenwater checks in along with Miles Taylor for Lynchburg.
Talk about some instant offense for the home team.
Faust nearly took that one away from D'Entremont, but it's back to Robertson on the near side, 15 to shoot. High ball screen, D'Entremont, good move, then a kick into the hands of Thomas, a good look, had to pick it up off the floor, but he makes good on his second opportunity of the game. Washington and Lee up to 5 points now in the first 5 minutes of this one. The offense has been sputtering a little bit, but it's all been because both teams have been fiery on the defensive end. Gillenwater did well on the catch and then gets a switch. O'Connor, Gillenwater, space on the perimeter and gets it back to O'Connor, 10 to shoot. Taylor has experience moving towards the basket. Kicks to Hart, now inside Faust. Trying to go at Robertson, gets met with 3 W&L defenders, but goes up strong with the left hand and floats it up and in. 11-5 is our score.
Theme early on, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Lynchburg goes back to the starting 5 that got it out to a 10-7 start on the year. And in game, Jonathan Faust keeps going down low, the high percentage looks, as they call them. High percentage for a reason. Faust, the shot selection, fantastic through the first 5 minutes.
Another great defensive play there from Jake Hart, poking that one away from Neuenhaus under the basket. Obviously that size is something we have talked about for Washington and Lee, and if Neuenhaus can really use that advantage over Lynchburg, he's gonna have a great night, but Hart doing well to get him on the way up. Jason Easton checks in, along with Mason Makovic for the first time in this contest. DeCivio outside, guarded by Taylor, a good matchup, and yet foul's going to be called on the floor. That one will go against Miles Taylor.
Yeah, foul comes right before. Looked like it was about to be a travel there for DeCivio. Taylor just trying to go pace for pace with him, but again, a lot of times the call's going to help on the offensive side, the bigger player.
Elijah Davis now into the game, so a full line change already in the first 6 minutes of this contest for Lynchburg, and fan favorite Elijah Davis gets his opportunity. Had a couple of electric shots in that game against Guilford. We'll see what he can offer Lynchburg tonight.
Lynchburg throwing a lot of size on the floor right now. Shortest guy is, believe, Trey Gillenwater at 6'2".
D'Entremont, a good move. Great job by Elijah Davis to stay with him. Not able to hit on that one late in the shot clock. DeCivio was asking for the ball multiple times. Did not get it. It was D'Entremont who tried to take the opportunity, but not one that if you're the coaching staff for the Generals, you can be too upset about. It was a good look. Gillenwater on the elbow, pull-up Jay from the free throw line. That one's short. Good rebound, falls right into the hands of DeCivio. He'll push the other way. Ryan, a little bit of space off that screen, dishes it off to DeCivio. Looked like he wanted to fire it up, but did not. DeCivio, a couple of quick moves and a smooth J from behind the arc. Makes good on that one. It's been 2 3-pointers already made for W&L in this game. They had 11 last time these two teams met. Shot just below 50% in that contest from behind the arc. That'll be something Lynchburg needs to pick up on and defend the perimeter well.
And rest assured, DeCivio is going to get his. It's just a matter of where is he going to get them. He might be patient early on to figure out where the openings are, the holes in the Lynchburg defense, but as this game goes along, he's going to score his points.
Taylor, strong move, not able to hit there as he was driving. Makovic hits the deck, 5-on-4 going the other way. Thomas, an open look in the hand of Miles Taylor, no good, and then the rebound tipped around, and Jason Easton comes down with it. You know, the pace in the early parts of this game kind of reminds me of that Guilford game. Easton inside nearly traveled, but you know, kind of the contrasting styles as Taylor knocks that one down, and a timeout called. But you know, Guilford not a team that moves it fast. W&L not showing that they want to play quick in the shot clock either. Lynchburg taking advantage in the early going just like they did in that one, but that will bring us to a timeout here. 14-8 is our score. Lynchburg on top. You are watching the Code Red game for Lynchburg men's basketball on LHSN.
Look what you're missing.
private education is too expensive? Think again. At the University of Lynchburg, you can get a personalized education for the cost of a state school. If you're commuting and you get our top scholarships, you could pay much less. And you get all that without the hassle of giant lecture halls. Our faculty know your name here and do more than just teach. You might even do research together and plan out your next career moves.
Lynchburg fans showing out here tonight on a Valentine's Wednesday evening. Code Red always brings out quite a few people into Turner Gymnasium, but it always helps when Lynchburg's playing well. Got off to a great start, riding that momentum that the fans have given them. The score is 14-8. WNL has knocked down 2 3-point jumpers, got it inside once. But what do you think WNL has to do on offense just to look a little bit smoother?
Well, you know, I think the name of the game's patience early on. I think if you're looking at this from the Generals' perspective, you're thinking, well, this is a team that got up on us early, had a lead on us in the first half, had a 7-point lead on us in the second half, and we wound up winning that game by 15. So I think for Washington Lee, like I touched on with DeCibio earlier, I think the same can be true for the whole team. They're going to be patient. They're going to pick their spots. And eventually some of those shots that are rimming out, you start to get a feel for the gym. Some of those shots will start to drop.
Tough one there on Miles Taylor. That's his second. He was pleading his case with the officials this evening about maybe a little bit of a wraparound there from DeCibio trying to create that space, but not a call you see often called against the offense. Here's a good look from behind the arc, and Harrell knocks it down. The third three-pointer made. That's the primary place where their offense is coming from, but Miles Taylor did pick up his second foul on that last possession. We'll see just how much leeway he gets out on the court. Such a big part of this Lynchburg team, especially on the offensive end, but he matches up really well to a couple of different stars for WNL. Easton driving, tipped them out of bounds by Colin Ryan. His second block of the game, or at least second close to block. Not sure if the first one will go down as one, but a great defensive effort there from Ryan.
Speaking on Taylor, I really like the decision to leave him in there. We were talking about this pregame. Andrew, you know, analytically speaking, as Makovic nails his third three of the year, he's back over 50%. Picking those threes wisely is Makovic. But, you know, from an analytical perspective, you want to make sure that your best players are on the floor as long as they can be. So that means leaving somebody in with 2 fouls. At least you're guaranteed those minutes rather than waiting and, you know, taking the minutes away from them on purpose.
And you saw right there, Washington Lee trying to go right at Miles Taylor, maybe draw that third foul. He post goes straight up and stops DeCibio from knocking one down, but that's right where WNL is going to take advantage all game. Pump fake here, Laughlin baseline. Now to Ryan driving through contact, plus the foul. He'll head to the line for an old-fashioned three-point play.
Looks like that one may have been Taylor again. That's a moment where Makovic's got to raise his hand. Okay, they will give it to Makovic. Taylor slid in there at the last second as well, but credit to Makovic going ahead and taking that foul from his teammate with 2. Good awareness on his part. Veteran play from the now junior in Makovic. Kind of hard to believe, and that one will send Taylor to the bench anyway. Could partially, I don't know, maybe be the fall. He did go down a bit hard.
Either way, opportunity at the line for the three-point play. Can't convert that one, draws backboard first, but you know, if there was ever a night for Lynchburg to be loud, it would have to be tonight, especially when the other team's on the free throw line. Makovic mid-range, Jay, back iron no good, and a great rebound flying in there from D'Entremont. Ryan pushing. Harrell going at Easton, but he walls off that space on the block. And Hart comes in from behind, nearly takes it away. Battle for it on the ground.
Possession arrow points Lynchburg's way. Big cheer from the Lynchburg sideline. Now a little bit of a cheer, some clapping from the fans as the official tonight does point Lynchburg's way. But the defensive intensity's been off the charts early on, especially from Hart and Faust, who are both back in the game now. I think that's really been the key early on for Lynchburg. Good defense a lot of times sets up great offensive looks, especially in transition.
Lynchburg obviously having some tape on this WNL offense. Gave up 88 points the last time these two teams met. Definitely feeling a little bit better on the defensive end, but how about that move from Jason Easton? crossing over, sliding through, nobody there in the paint. And Easton gets his first 2 points of the game. Hart nearly pokes it away again. Robertson, top of the key, gives it to DeCibio, going right at Faust. Easton reaches in, DeCibio a good move and a good finish. Not much that Jonathan Faust could do there. If DeCibio's getting to his spot on the block and posting up, you don't really want to bite on that pump fake, but there's not much you can do with that height advantage.
Yeah, but when you're talking about a guy that has 40-plus career games of scoring 20 or more points, you just got to understand you're going to give some of those up. He's a great basketball player. What can you do to limit the rest of this Washington elite team? So far, it's 5 for DeCibio, 10 for everybody else. So doing a pretty good job of even limiting DeCibio in the early going. Not quite on pace to hit that 20-point mark.
Yeah, and if you're Lynchburg, we mentioned earlier the 3 points being knocked down from WNL in the early going, but that's really where you want to live and die if you're Lynchburg in this game. The second that WNL controls the paint and can get the ball inside and score every single time down the floor, that's where things start to get a little bit nervous, especially if those threes aren't falling for Lynchburg. But here's DeCibio right back in. Robertson up and blocked there. Hart goes up, gets another deflection. 4-point lead. Lynchburg trying to extend. Easton space. The closeout from Thomas, obviously knowing how good of a shooter he was. And he drives and no foul called. Gets a couple of groans from the fans. But this is very similar to what we saw last time these two teams met. Not many fouls called early. Good move there. Neuenhaus catches it, spins on the block, and cuts that lead to 2.
Coach Scott giving it to the officials after that last one as well. He was doing a little more than just groaning. Certainly not happy with the no call there for Easton on his second 2-point attempt of the game.
Hart being pressured on the Hornet logo just past midcourt, and a foul called against Robertson as Easton tried to fight around what really set up as kind of a screen there on that dribble handoff. But
yeah, Washington and Lee faithful are not very happy about that one, but I think you're going to have to be okay with it given that Easton did not draw the call close to the basket on that last drive attempt.
You know, that's something a lot of people talk about is you might not get the call, whether it was right or not. Head coach Hillary Scott going over there pleading his case. You never know what kind of mind battles you can be playing with not only the officials but with the other teams on defense. You hear that, you know they're going to call it. Maybe you step off just a little bit. Ross dancing, kicking to Faust. He gets top of the key, trying to back it down on D'Entremont. Little bit of a push in there, can't knock it down. And then Hart nearly takes it away under the basket from Robertson. He has had Robertson's number all day, at least to this point, and cutting and not able to make that catch. Filling the lane well was D'Entremont, but passed just a little bit too deep. Ryan pats his chest and blames himself.
Yeah, that's one that's going to make Chris McHugh maybe bump his head into a wall a little bit, because that was a rare time where Faust was sort of left back in the dust, had the clear cut to the basket and just led him too far on the entry pass.
A great setup play, would have been a great opportunity, and Jake Hart stepped on the sideline, but a foul called before it.
Yeah, Jake Hart, he might only be a freshman, might only be 18 years old, but he's got no fear. And it doesn't matter where you're at on the floor, he's not going to lose his poise. And you really just can't afford to give those fouls up when in a game where fouls are important that far away from the basket right at midcourt. I mean, if Hart were a little less calm and collected, you know, I get it, but might not want to throw that at him every time down the court.
O'Connor, a pump fake on a pass, and then a 3 no good off the back iron, but that foul only the second in the first half called against WNL. Lynchburg has given up 5. Inside, Harrell goes up strong, no good on that one, and then tipped away by Ryan. Driving D'Entremont through the contact. It was Hart who walled up and went straight up, and that one goes out of play. Last touch by Lynchburg.
And credit to the officials so far, they're letting them play a little bit down low. It's a good job by them understanding what the nature of this game was going to be. Both of these teams in this style of game, they want to get downhill a little bit. You see the intentionality with Faust for Lynchburg, and you know that's just the nature of the game plan every night out for Washington and Lee. So, you know, let them play in the paint a little bit. We don't need to take 3 hours for this game.
Obviously 2 strong teams, 3 there. Harrell a little bit too strong, no good. Still a 2-point lead for the Hornets. A little bit of a scoring drought here. Not able to knock down a couple shots on a couple of possessions in a row. Ross slowing things down. Top of the key, nearly carried with it. Instead gets inside past Neuenhaus, but Neuenhaus recovering, puts the pressure on the back of Ross inside. Ryan nearly traveled with it, but it was great defense there from O'Connor, and another miss in transition for WNL. Ryan puts his hand in the air, pleading his case for a foul as well, something we've seen quite a little bit from either team in the early parts of this game. Under 7 to go on this Code Red Wednesday night.
Something for these guards to keep in mind for Lynchburg when driving to the basket. Got to put out that last extra burst of speed getting to the basket, because you have so much length in the arms from these Generals defenders. It's just hard to create the space for yourself. That last time down, would have liked to see Ross one more dribble, maybe go to the reverse. I only say that because we know he's got every shot in the book. So just something to keep an eye on for these Lynchburg guards.
19-17 our score, under 7 to go here in the first half of a Code Red Valentine's Day men's basketball matchup. You are watching LHSN. Welcome back. 2-point lead for Lynchburg, and over that break, colleague Sam Graham and I talking about just how clean of a game this has been to this point. We talked about turnovers and takeaways in the early part. What was it, only 6 total turnovers to this point in about 14 minutes. And only 1 free throw shot there. Good closeout by Pearson Young. Laughlin not able to knock it down in front of that Lynchburg student section.
Yeah, really clean game early on, and you mentioned a scoring drought here for Lynchburg, and it's true. It's been tough on the offensive end. Good Washington and Lee defense. DeAndre Ross ends the scoring drought right in front of my sentence. But what I was going to say was, sometimes with this Lynchburg team, you might see the lack of offense impact how they play on defense. That was not the case. They held WNL to a bit of a scoring drought of their own. So credit to them, kind of creating their own intensity on the defensive end.
Lynchburg changing their defensive pressure on that side of the ball with a little bit of a breakdown, a tip away that looked like it might have been a turnover, turned into an open look from the corner, and WNL cuts it down to just a 1-point lead for Lynchburg.
They go right back to man after that one. Don't want to let Harrell get going, coming off a career high 4 3-pointers made in that game against EMU, so he can get hot.
That one a close one for Washington and Lee. Brought them up to 4th in the league standings. Ross a 3, that one rims in and out. Young, the rebound, goes up and converts. Great offensive rebound, fighting back to that one. A.J. Thomas was trying to take it away from him.
That's going to be the 21st rebound of the game already for Lynchburg, and already the 5th on the offensive end. It's a bit of a padlock stat against this lengthy WNL team. You might not have to out-rebound them, but you at least got to keep it close.
2 good looks from behind the arc, no good. Thomas missed one, DeCivio missed the other. And then on the rebound on that second shot, it goes out of play. Lynchburg basketball, under 5 to go. 3-point lead for the Hornets. But yeah, on the offensive end, Lynchburg has done a pretty good job. Faust had those early 8 points, really energized this team. And since then, really split apart. What would that be? About 6 guys on this Lynchburg team. Each made a shot, not counting Jonathan Faust. So Lynchburg comfortable playing late in the shot clock. They're not pushing as much as they want to, but still look very comfortable. Faust inside, goes up. Maybe worked to his advantage there, lost the ball on the way up, but no dribble allowed him to keep going. It wasn't tipped. So he finishes that one, 5-point lead. Faust up to 10. Pump fake, a little step in and then step back out, and a foul called on the rebound. We'll see who that one goes against.
It's going to be Pearson Young. He was clearing out Colin Ryan. And yeah, it was a valid foul.
I believe it
Never mind,
actually
they're going to go to O'Connor.
Yes, I believe it was on O'Connor. Maybe Ryan a little bit off balance on that side, but either way, acts the same for Lynchburg.
We'll stay with Pearson Young, though. Face guarding DeCibio, still on him. Lynchburg does go right back to the man. It was effective early on.
Harrell maybe caught a hand to the side of the face there from Dre Ross. Ross doing his best to put a lot of pressure on number 12 in blue. DeCibio inside advantage, and a travel called against the senior. The height advantage over Pearson Young, something we thought was going to be a big deal, but obviously one of the best defenders in the conference doing his best to slow down the senior from Connecticut.
You might not know it right when you look at the stat sheet, but Lynchburg's got some really good defensive players. Faust and Hart have been great tonight. Pearson Young's another one that can go toe-to-toe with just about anybody. There's some very talented individual defensive players on this Lynchburg team.
Pearson Young, a high-arching three, in Lynchburg, their largest lead of the night, gets a loud roar from these crowds. It was nearly taken away, but now driving with a little bit of space is Ryan. Harrell, three in front of Lynchburg's bench. No good, and a weak side rebound into the hands of Pearson Young.
How about Pearson Young, number 3-3, 23% from deep last year. He's up to 37% this year, an underrated part of his game that he's been putting a lot of work into.
Does a great job of picking and choosing his opportunities from behind the arc. The roof would blow off of Turner Gymnasium if they get a basket on the next possession or two. Lynchburg feeling very good on the offensive end, but a foul called against Colin Ryan for WNL. Right there on the baseline. O'Connor was trying to slide past him. That's just the third against the Generals.
Big high five for DeAndre Ross from Coach Scott as he goes back to the bench to get a quick rest. I think probably for the defensive side of things, been playing with a lot of energy on that end, even though offensively it hasn't been a perfect night for him.
Lynchburg inbounds it right into the corner, not necessarily the best spot to put it. Seemed like Washington and Lee was baiting them, and Killenwater on the drive. Newhouse extended but couldn't get into the area. 10-point lead, and a foul will be called against Jake Hart in transition. Harrell did well to go right at the freshman. That'll be Jake Hart's first, and it will put Harrell at the line to shoot two.
That was a great time to go to that too, you know, coming off the made basket, creating your own transition opportunity. It's not easy to do. Not every team can do it effectively. WNL gets ahead and beats the Lynchburg defense on the way back down the floor. And it's a crucial time. You're facing a double-digit deficit for the first time. This is looking really, really similar to the first time these two teams met.
That one actually called on the floor before a shot was being put up. But either way, there'll be two looks here for Harrell, and he'll make good on both of them, and a timeout called on the floor. 3:01 left, 8-point lead for Lynchburg. They're surging on the offensive end, but it's all started on defense. 8-point lead, Code Red Wednesday night. We'll return to see the remainder of the first half on LHSN.
My name is Alexis Fabula. I major in criminology and I double minor in psychology and criminal forensics. My favorite part about Lynchburg is the friends that I've come to have. It's helped me come out of my shell more, and it's helped me become the person I am and the student I am. I really enjoyed how small the campus was, and I also really enjoy how small the class sizes are. It made me feel like I was going to be more engaged than I would at a bigger campus. If someone was on the fence of coming to the University of Lynchburg, I would definitely love to sit down and have a conversation with them because I'm forever grateful that I made this choice.
8-point lead for Lynchburg on a Code Red Wednesday night. Just over 3 minutes to go here in the first half. Sam, Since our last break, what has WNL done on the defensive end, but what has Lynchburg done better on offense to really pick up this 8-point lead?
I think for Lynchburg, we talked about it with Jake Hart early on, doing a great job of staying calm and collected. Some of these plays that aren't going their way, mishandling a pass and then going and scooping it back up, missing a shot, getting your own rebound. Little plays like that, little hustle plays where Lynchburg's just staying calm, and that's allowing them to go right at some really tight and tough defense as well, like Jake Hart tried to do right there, obviously to no avail.
Hart no good from the baseline, little fall away jumper, not exactly the easiest look Lynchburg could have gotten there, but late in the shot clock, you're almost happy with any opportunity. DeCibio cutting, and a foul will be called against Pearson Young, who looked to me, at least live, like he might have caught maybe an elbow or a forearm to the side of the face. But maybe the contact created by his arm still being extended through DeCibio trying to drive to the basket.
Not much protest from the Lynchburg sideline, but a little bit of a free throw disparity starting to creep up here for Lynchburg, just something they might want to get on top of. But, let's be honest, Lynchburg has done a really good job of going at these Washington and Lee defenders, just not drawing a lot of fouls, and that's credit to WNL going up vertically and staying out of trouble. That's something they struggled with the first time these two teams met, and good coaching allows you to circumvent that.
Yeah, and already maybe the reason why there haven't been many fouls called is just because the defense when driving to the basket has been so good for the Generals. Already 5 blocks in this contest for the team from Lexington. Easton a little bit of space, gives it over to Gillenwater. Now O'Connor and Hart, 16 to shoot. Easton has made that move all night, inside spinning, keeps his pivot foot, goes up, gets the foul, and one.
Jason Easton, 3 2-point attempts on the day. He only takes about 1 per game. That's coaching right there. That's got to be coming from the top down. Coach Scott telling these wings he's got, especially with a little bit of size to him like Jason Easton, Jonathan Faust, you're going to drive into the basket tonight. And I'm sure we're going to see some 3-point attempts from Easton as we get further into this game. But credit to him putting his head down and just getting right to the rack.
Well, Lynchburg doing a good job of spacing the perimeter, especially near the top of the key. Has left that baseline cut open nearly the entire game. Easton had it. It was poked away by Ryan. But, there's always something to be said for attacking the closeout, as there's a foul called here against the Hornets that got a big stand-up from the Lynchburg bench and the Lynchburg student section on the near side. Easton just asking how that was called against him. It looked to me like driving up the court. DeCibio might have created that contact. Not exactly sure. That's exactly what Easton thought, but either way, DeCibio at the line.
And Coach Scott mad on that one, but I don't think he was quite as mad as his assistant. Dylan Hall was sort of recreating the screen painting there. He had hands on his cheeks, and we'll take another look at it. Looks like it's gone a little bit both ways. I don't know. It's probably a no call if it's me, but it is what it is. Again, that's the reality of the situation. It's one of the best players in the conference. You're going to get a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, and that just goes with the territory. You see that at every level of the game, and, obviously Lynchburg can't play hands-off defense, but you just got to be cognizant of that.
There's always a little bit of benefit giving to the guy bringing the ball down the court. We see a lot of foul called not against that guy moving with the ball, so sticking to what a lot of people usually do is the officiating crew today. But
well, and in fairness, we had Jake Hart draw a foul right here. He was about to step back court and got a foul, a little bit of a ticky-tack from Connor Robertson. So it's going both ways. Although I understand the students up in arms on it.
It goes back to that comment before. Gillenwater can't hit, rims in and out, and then O'Connor taps it out of play. Harrell couldn't come down with the board, but just, staying in the ear of the official if you're head coach Hillary Scott or the coaching staff for WNL, or even if you're, the fan base getting kind of rowdy at a call, maybe that sways a decision here and there. Not saying that these officials will give in to those pressures, but you never really know what could happen if you don't try. So, for WNL, need a couple of baskets here to finish the first half to maybe climb their way back into it. 1:07 left and a foul called on the ball there.
This is a very, very important last 67 seconds of this first half. You got a really good crowd here, especially on the home side. You got to get them energized, get them up, make sure they're back in their seats here for the second half.
O'Connor called for that foul there. Will be his second. Colin Ryan will head to the line. Get an opportunity now to shoot 2 free throws. Lynchburg has committed 10 fouls in this first half. Washington and Lee has only committed those 4, and Ryan can't make good on the first.
Credit to the students making a little noise tonight, altering their first free throw from WNL of the evening.
Ryan's second. Pure goes right through.
Ryan's the one to do it to, 37% at the line on the year. He's had his struggles.
Looked relatively comfortable there on the second one. Maybe just need to see one go through. 5-point lead. Zone set up. Gillenwater a look from the near side wing. No good. Long weak side rebound. Faust gets it and Harrell nearly takes it away, but touches it out of bounds.
Those are the plays from Harrell, especially as we get into the second half. Keep an eye on him. Might not be in the scoring table. He's going to make about a half dozen plays like that. It's what he did in the second half of the first game. It's like when everybody else gets more tired, he seems to speed up. And I mean, he was running the 60-meter sprint on that last attempt.
He's got 8 points in this contest, so showing up well on the offensive end as well. This zone is giving Lynchburg a little bit of trouble, and a kicked ball there by Harrell in the right space at the right time will give Lynchburg a fresh 20 seconds on the shot clock. See where Lynchburg goes here. They haven't been able to get the ball inside. Ross pump fakes on what would have been a deep 3. Now Hart inside Makovic, space. Ross met with a good closeout from WNL, kicks it. Hart pump fake, driving, 5 to shoot, stuck in there. Easton a little bit of space, throws one up through contact and does well to just draw iron. And a great board there from Harrell.
Dangerous attempt at the board there for Harrell, though. I'm pretty sure it was last touched by Lynchburg, just about committed a turnover.
Big moment here for the Generals, down 5. Can they get a shot off? DeCibio turns it over. Faust from beyond half court nearly converts. You want to talk about blowing the roof off a gym, that might have done it. But either way, Lynchburg playing their best in the first half on both ends. Score is 32-27. We'll have a little bit of stats, maybe some highlights when we return, but Lynchburg doing it all on both ends of the court this evening. 5-point lead. We'll be back in just a few minutes on this Code Red Wednesday night on LHSN.
Tim Slusser from the Outdoor Leadership Program gave a presentation at a Teaching and Learning Resources Conference here about getting his program more involved on the academic side of campus. I mentioned computers and mapping, and he mentioned caving, and eventually we came up with the idea of mapping caves.
So the week before we were able to learn how to use the instruments kind of like on a flat surface and just kind of get a hang of how they work. But it was really amazing how once we got in the cave, it was a completely different experience using them.
It was unique. It got most of us out of our comfort zone, kind of gave us a new experience, a new taste of something new. But I think the most difficult parts were getting the lighting right. You had to read the instruments with the headlamps while keeping your eye pointed on the plot point.
This allowed them to actually literally get their hands dirty, collecting data, conducting measurements, and putting all that together in the form of a map, and doing it in a place that's never been mapped before.
I'm walking around over on the crowd side, I always hear someone yelling, "Hey Nat, take our picture. Hey Nat, get this," or something, or "Hey Nat, you got that shot?" Like, so I'm always like trying to photograph the crowds and my friends calling my name. I think sports at Lynchburg unifies us as a whole. No matter what background we come from, what differences we have, and what experience we've experienced through our lives, it brings us all together and we have one goal, which is to win. As a photographer, I definitely get to capture the emotion and the feel and the atmosphere of what's going on during the games and what's happening in the crowd and with the fans. We have hugely dedicated fans here at Lynchburg. They come out whether it's rain, snow, sleet, windy, no matter what. Like, they will come out and support their team and cheer them on. They will sit through anything. It's just, it brings us all together as one.
Get your career in the game by enrolling in the University of Lynchburg MBA program with an emphasis in sport management. This program opens the doors to new possibilities for a variety of careers, from being an athletic director or working in athletic administration to working for professional organizations, your favorite team, to running a local Parks and Rec department. And employers are increasingly requesting and preferring individuals who have postgraduate education, specifically looking for an MBA. And so the University of Lynchburg Sport Management concentration in the MBA program sets you up for success, and it sets you apart from the many other people looking for jobs in the industry. Learn from winners. Here you will learn from professors and mentors who have spent their careers doing exactly what you want to do. Increase your marketability in an $83 billion industry. If you have a 3.0 GPA, the GMAT is waived. There's no application fee, admissions occurs on a rolling basis, and our online program is ideal for working adults. When you enroll in this program, you enroll in the opportunity to learn from the best of the best. Your professors have a wealth of experience working in the sport industry that they share with you in the classroom setting. Get in the game by getting your MBA with a sport management concentration at the University of Lynchburg. Just you now, Hollywood, here I come. Hey, I meant, yeah.
The real Lindsay Piper's here.
Autographs there later.
When you come to the University of Lynchburg to earn a master's degree in athletic training, you'll spend time in the classroom, but you'll also spend a lot of time in our top-notch facilities learning from athletic trainers and working closely with our student athletes. In the Graduate Cadaver Lab, you'll learn about the human body in the best way possible by actually studying the human body. This will provide a foundation to make you a much better athletic trainer. In the athletic training laboratory, you'll get hands-on experience, practicing your skills, applying concepts from the classroom, and working with faculty on research projects. It's also where our hydrotherapy facilities are. This space is also used by students for studying and practicing skills outside of class time. In the Sports Medicine Clinic in Turner Gymnasium, you'll work with student athletes from more than 20 NCAA Division III sports teams, helping get them back to practice and into the game as soon as possible. As an athletic training student, you're a big part of the success of our sports teams and the success of the local athletic teams. We see this relationship as a win-win situation. You learn, and that helps us win.
A single thread is unique. Like each of us, full of purpose and potential. A strand designed to connect, strengthen, and unite. But we face different challenges and have different opportunities. By acknowledging that others may struggle in ways we do not, we can celebrate our differences, embrace each other, and fortify the ties among us. A single thread can fray, yet when it's woven with another, a bond forms. A new strength created by the fabric of the whole. Let's embrace the fabric we make together, the diversity of our threads, to reach beyond ourselves and overcome the impossible. The true power of our game comes from unifying our individual backgrounds, connecting our unique stories, enabling us to be stronger, braver, greater. We can achieve so much more when we are all as one.
What a season! The confetti is going to fall.
There she goes, and she's got it!
How sweet is this, and how wonderful for the sport.
"20 minutes done, 20 minutes remain here in Lynchburg, Virginia. The Hornets on top after 20 minutes. 32-27 is our score. We'll do have an opportunity to look at a little bit of the stats so far for Lynchburg. Jonathan Faust, 5 for 8 from the field, 10 points, getting it inside. Lynchburg shooting the 3-ball relatively well. They've knocked down 4 in 10 attempts. And then the other side, what really has stood out to you for W&L?
Well, I'm actually going to start with Lynchburg because first and foremost, they've made 4 threes, 40%, but it almost doesn't feel like it. I had to do a double take when I looked at the number just because they've gotten 26 shots up from inside the perimeter. I think that's huge. I expect it to continue in the second half, and they've done a pretty good job of running Washington and Lee off of the three-point line. That's leading to the Generals forcing some of those threes up. That's why they're 4 of 14, just a lowly 28% at the break. Now, on the side of W&L, we said the keys to the game for Lynchburg trying to pull the upset at home today. We're going to be making W&L rack up the fouls and limiting those turnovers. Well, so far, not working out so great for Lynchburg. W&L only 5 fouls at the half, only 6 turnovers. Now, the plus side on the turnover side of the coin is that Lynchburg themselves only have 5. Really, as long as Lynchburg can win that stat, they're going to be in a pretty good spot. Anytime that they can stay really 9 or below, we'll even say 10 or below in the turnover column, with the pace of play, with the dynamic ability to score, they can give themselves a chance in a game. So if Lynchburg can just stay on pace, 4 or 5 turnovers in the second half, don't get rattled. That was the issue. This was a similar look at the half against Guilford, and I think Lynchburg just down the last 10 minutes or so just looked like they got a little bit rattled. Hopefully it stays a good crowd in the second half. They can use that, take some energy from the fans inside Turner, hopefully turn that into an upset win.
Something to note as well for Washington and Lee. The star of the game the last time these two teams met had 31 there. He's 0 for 3 tonight so far, has not gotten into that scoring column yet. DeCibio only has 9. It feels like he got the ball almost every time down the floor. 2 for 5 from the field. You have to expect that that is going to be where they go. Get Donchermont an opportunity, get DeCibio a chance, and give Harrell those kick-out threes. And Washington and Lee will find something positive coming out of this halftime break. But either way, 5-point lead for the Hornets. We'll be back in about 3.5 minutes for the remainder of this Code Red Wednesday night game on LHSN.
biggest thing that I've taken from Westover is probably my interactions with faculty. I started working with Dr. Fryer. He's always available for help, and he makes sure that I get to do the experiments and not just be there while he does them. I didn't want to limit myself when I came here to just taking the prereqs for med school. I wanted to get a full, well-rounded education, and I definitely found that in the Westover program. It's given me the opportunity to keep playing soccer at a competitive level, but also it's given me the ability to be a student and to pursue other activities such as EMS. 100% do Westover because it's not something they're going to regret, and it's going to be a lot of work, but so is everything else. It's just going to help build their education that they've already had and make them a better person for it.
Welcome back inside of Turner Gymnasium. 5-point lead for the Hornets. It'll be W&L ball to start the second half. Gives us an opportunity to run you through who's on the floor. For W&L, same starting five: Laughlin, Harrell, Ryan, D'Entremont, and DeCibio. And then for the Hornets, Hart, Young, O'Connor, Faust, and Ross.
Same starting five on both sides. Expect W&L in the second half to shoot a lot less threes. Expect Lynchburg to maybe shoot a couple more.
DeCibio inside, goes right to it, can't hit, gets his own board, and no contest on the second shot there. Good offensive rebound, a strong move for DeCibio. He's up into double figures. And just like that, he's maybe become that offensive focal point for the Generals. Where will the offense come for Lynchburg? 3-point lead, but obviously need to get off to a good start here in the second half. This is a Washington and Lee team that pulled away from Lynchburg last time these two teams met. 3 to shoot, Young, free throw line through the contest there, rims around, no good. Faust, board, kick out, Hart, pump fake, splits 2 defenders, goes up with the left hand. Lynchburg had 2 looks at it, but could not convert on either, and now Washington and Lee down 3, an opportunity to either tie or cut this lead to just 1, and it's DeCibio who can't knock down this shot, and a little extracurricular push to Pearson Young, but nothing doing there.
Really strong rebound from O'Connor, though, to keep that to just a one-shot possession.
O'Connor doing well, going up through the size that Washington and Lee possesses. It's definitely an advantage in this contest. Hart turns it over. And out in transition, DeCibio, Dre Ross applying the contact to the senior, a foul that you would be relatively happy with. Obviously, instead of 2 free points, you put him on the free throw line and make him earn it. We'll take another look here. Was Hart maybe telegraphing that pass to Faust, and then great job to keep it in. DeCibio goes up strong.
Just a rare sort of lazy pass there from Jake Hart. But then, yeah, credit to Ross getting back on the defensive end. The only way you can really make a bad decision there is if you foul them in a way that they're still able to get a clean shot off. And he made it so that DeCibio couldn't really get into a true shooting motion. He shoots 2, maybe he makes them both, but he's got to earn them instead of just giving him the 2 points on a dunk.
I agree. As interesting as it sounds, if you're going to foul them, do not let them get that shot up. And Dre Ross did it well on that one, but either way, DeCibio converts on both opportunities from the free throw line. Ross crossing over past Ryan from the free throw line, no good. O'Connor inside, gets 2 defenders up, and he'll hit the deck, but a foul called against Washington and Lee. We'll see who it will go against. Will go against number 15, Jack D'Entremont. That will be his second foul. Still not on the board yet. We'll take another look. Good rebound, O'Connor inside, and then a little bit of that hesitation got D'Entremont off his feet and then just fights through that contact.
Point Lynchburg, point Cameron O'Connor. He had an open Jake Hart behind him, thought about giving him the pass, then turns, puts it on the deck, goes strong at D'Entremont, draws the foul, gets 2 free throws, and again, Hart did knock down a 3 in the first half, but certainly not his strong suit. I think you passed up an okay shot for a really good one.
O'Connor makes good on both. Amidst those free throws, mascot for Lynchburg, Dell, was tossing out candy, it looked like, into the Lynchburg student section. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone out there. Ryan space now gets it to the corner. Inside DeCibio met with a double team, and Faust nearly takes it away. That bobble allowed DeCibio to move with it just a little bit. 7 to shoot inside, 2 long steps, and a good finish for the senior from Connecticut. He has all of the offense here in the second half for Washington and Lee. 6 points. He's up to 15 on the game, and in that halftime break, we talked about just how important it was for Washington and Lee to go right at the inside defense of Lynchburg, and Ross attacking. He'll get 2 free throws.
And that's what we expected, right, Andrew? That's what we said. You know, we wouldn't be surprised if we came out of the break and it was a 10 straight point sort of deal from Robert DeCibio. They've run every set to him so far, and I think it's important, you know, even though he got the 2 points on the last trip down, Jonathan Faust was in his back pocket, and I think that's just going to be important for Lynchburg. Don't let anything be easy. If he's going to score, make him work for it.
Ross can't make good on the first free throw. That just the 4th free throw attempt put up in this game for Lynchburg. Washington and Lee has put up 11. Made good on 9 of them. Second one no good either, so 0 for 2 from the line in an empty possession. And Washington and Lee has an opportunity to take their first lead of the game. Ryan inside with the left hand, through the contact, finishes, and Washington and Lee for the first time in 23 minutes leads the home Lynchburg Hornets.
A lot of callbacks to the first game between these two, and a story Lynchburg's seen a couple too many times this year. It's a crucial point in the game right now.
The offensive end has sputtered just a little bit for Lynchburg. A lot of one-on-one moves. Hart out to Young, a 3 with a hand in his face. Back iron no good, and flying in, but not able to get the rebound was O'Connor. Ryan Harrell behind the back, spin move, goes up, and it was blocked away by Cam O'Connor, but a foul will be called against number 21. That will be his 3rd of the contest. Take another look here. It was a great move to even get into that position. An obvious foul called there against O'Connor. Harrell will head to the line with an opportunity to shoot 2.
Lynchburg just failed to match up with Harrell on the fast break opportunity. They found everybody else, didn't mark number 12, and he's able to get downhill. It's just a hard shot to stop from anybody, but especially from him, and that's the first sort of blitz we've seen from him here in the second half.
It's a Washington and Lee team that is obviously comfortable out running with some tempo, but has actually done a good job of playing in the half court in this contest, and I think a lot of that has just been because of their defensive pressure. Lynchburg hasn't really been able to create any shots on their own. They've kind of fallen into some hands. Maybe Taylor can restart things, and he can. Step back, Jay, top of the key. Tie game at 37, and a timeout called on the floor. Code Red environment heating up, 16-20 remaining in this contest. We'll be back in a few seconds with the remainder of this contest. You are watching LHSN.
I was looking for a school that could provide me with the athletics, academics to pursue my career, a wind symphony to pursue my passion for music, and really have a nice general atmosphere. The professors here are really unique, their background and their passion for teaching. It's really a place where you can explore. Lynchburg gives you the opportunity to fail, but also get back up in that period of time and learn from your mistakes. I can make these mistakes within the school environment, but also with the support of other friends, and be ready for the real world when you graduate.
And there is Dell right there. During that little break, we were wondering who could possibly be inside of that mascot right there. Obviously, a question that everyone will wonder and no one will find out.
Good mascot never shares his secrets, Andrew.
And we have a great one here at the University of Lynchburg, bringing the energy. And that's the same thing that Lynchburg has done on the floor. A tie game against the 4th-ranked team in the conference. Obviously behind those 3 teams ranked in the top 10 in the country. So, I mean, not too much to scoff at. If you're Lynchburg, you're in a great position against a great team. High post, trying to get rid of it, does. Now Harrell, now back to D'Entremont, and a 3 from the top of the key. DeCibio had an opportunity to get a couple more moves.
D'Entremont flustered by Ross there. Sorry to cut you off, Andrew, but I'm going to make sure anytime the opposing player on the road gets a little flustered, just want to make note of it.
It's been a very physical game, and D'Entremont didn't like the physicality of Hart or Ross in that space. Faust made a good move, and nearly hitting the deck was Colin Ryan, but nothing called. Whether it was a little bit of an exaggeration or if it was actually a foul, either way, no shot goes in. D'Entremont, space, met with a double and blocked from behind. We'll see who the foul goes against. DeAndre Ross did a great job of facing up D'Entremont there under the basket. And it will go against Dre Ross.
Lose-lose situation there. Ross and Taylor both had 2, but obviously in terms of percentage, Taylor's been slightly more valuable on the evening on the offensive end. Of course, Ross has played some really, really solid defense so far this evening.
Washington and Lee has done a great job here in the early parts of the second half on this Code Red evening. If you did not know, Dell has a sign letting everybody in the building know. But either way, Washington and Lee has done a great job of kind of isolating on the perimeter and creating that 4-out motion or whatever it is to create mismatches in the paint, and they've taken advantage in this second half to this point. They lead by 2 after not leading the entire first half. They've kind of taken over this game in the momentum, just waiting for Lynchburg to hit that big shot to grab it all back and bring the crowd to their feet.
Big shots waiting at the scorers table.
Elijah Davis waiting over there to check into the game. Didn't see much of him in the first half, just a few minutes, but obviously the big energy on the near side, and a foul called will be on the floor. I believe that will go against Roberton.
D'Entremont coming in there at the last second just for insurance, even though that one was called on the floor. Andrew, what do you think is like the value when players do that, you know, just to ensure that the offensive player doesn't see the shot go through the basket?
I mean, I think it's exactly what you just said. I mean, you see it a lot of times. A guy will knock down a 3 after the whistle has been blown, and I mean, that really just gives them momentum, gives them confidence. If you're Washington and Lee, you almost like that energy, not letting Lynchburg see one. Here's that power shot, no good there from Elijah Davis, but Makovic, a great board inside, and a foul called against Lynchburg. Makovic, too strong, and hitting the deck was A.J. Thomas. We'll have to take another look at that one. Mason Makovic gesturing to Thomas, saying he might have flopped just a little bit. But either way, foul called against Lynchburg. Here's another look. Makovic inside, and he did extend that arm. A strong move from Makovic, but a little bit too extra on that right arm extending. Good call by this officiating crew.
Lynchburg goes back to the 1-3-1. They've had some success with this at times.
Good success there. You called it right off the bat. They get it to the high post where you'd want to see you go against a 2-3, and Gillenwater was the guy who ultimately came away with it after Makovic tipped it away. 20 seconds to shoot. Taylor, step back. Had someone moving there. Couldn't stay with him, but Lynchburg has had 2 open looks. The last couple of sessions, they haven't been able to hit.
Everybody in attendance was ready to get on their feet had that one gone in. After the miss, Lynchburg dropping back. Not sure if that was zone or man, but they were not in the 1-3-1 after the miss, so may only set that up in the half court.
Neuenhouse on the drive. We'll take another look at that one here. Met with 2 Lynchburg defenders, and they'll say last touch was to Lynchburg. Elijah Davis and the rest of the members of this Hornet team on the floor were not happy with the call, but either way, we've seen that kind of a lot today. Both teams getting a little bit flustered by a couple of calls, and that one taken away. Davis, transition 3, that one off and a long rebound. Nearly saved by Taylor, and he does keep it in, so a fresh 20 for the Hornets. You like those shots from Elijah Davis. You know what kind of energy would come from that one hitting the bottom of the net. You love him getting his opportunities, and he's such a good three-point shooter. Makovic inside, advantage over Roberton, and uses that one well in off the glass. Tie game at 39.
He's just got to stay at it. They're giving him a lot of those mismatches from a size perspective. I know he got hit with the offensive foul a couple possessions ago, but he's going to win more than he doesn't.
Neuenhaus inside, poked away by Jake Hart once again. He is putting on a defensive clinic. The fast hands of the freshman are doing well for the Hornets. Gillenwater, a little bit of a push off, a step to his right to Jay. Gets the Lynchburg fans on their feet. 2-point lead, Hornets on top.
Beautiful in the offensive end. Gillenwater really promising career in front of him. He's got every shot in the book.
Roberton passed up a three on his last time down the court. This time he couldn't pass up that wide open up of a look. Could not hit on it. Gillenwater feeling it just a little bit. Wanted to pull that one, but it decided to dish it off. Gets it back with 12 to shoot, now to Hart. Paint wide open for Lynchburg if they choose to drive. Elijah Davis not able to hit on that shot. Struggling a little bit on offense, and for the first time today, we will also see Landon Sutton check into the game.
Give a quick spell to Jake Hart, who's been out there for 24 of the 27 minutes and change of this game. He can go for a good amount of time. The freshman leads this team in minutes, but on the Elijah Davis point, obviously a shooter's got to shoot. And it's a testament that even though he's, not shooting the percentage he was last year, Washington and Lee all over him on the defensive end. They know what he's capable of, but he's still got to be careful with that shot selection.
Gillenwater thought he might have had a clean block, but a late foul call goes against the Hornets. Will put Washington and Lee on the line, but you mentioned it. Jake Hart leads the team in minutes, but he only plays 26 a game on average. So he's up to 24 already. It's a Lynchburg team that loves to share the wealth in terms of minutes.
Well, yeah, and it's one of those, a lot of times you see this when you glance at the spotting chart for the other teams and you just look down the minutes distribution. Most of the other teams, it's 2 or 3 guys with 30 plus, and then you might even have another 1 or 2 averaging more than Hart is per game. That was sort of the case with Pearson Young. He was the Jake Hart role last year, led the team in minutes as a freshman. But I will say, I think Lynchburg does find a lot of success in games like this where they do let some of their top guys stack up some minutes. Jake Hart's at 24 already, Jonathan Faust with 22, Cam O'Connor 17. Just a number of guys that have already played well over half of this game.
Lynchburg breaks the press here. Sutton, transition, driving, goes up through the contact, can't hit, but it's Taylor who gets the board. Gillenwater, fake pass to Davis for 3.
Beautiful decision making. He gets the defender to jump on the fake swing pass to the spot up shooter, Elijah Davis, but Lynchburg's cooking up another spot up shooter of their own. Trey Gillenwater shooting darn near 50% from beyond the arc.
And DeCibio on the other side answers immediately, going right to the basket through the contact. That lead brought down to 1. Davis wanted to pull it, dishes it off to Taylor. Space, Davis, another 3. That one, long rebound short, out in transition. A.J. Thomas all by himself. Euro left hand, can't hit. Somehow gets it tipped right back into his hands. And the lone general on that side of the floor is going to have 2 opportunities at the free throw line after getting an offensive rebound over 3 different Lynchburg defenders.
Tough break there for a Lynchburg team. It's made a lot of really good hustle plays throughout this game, and especially early in the second half. Yeah, like you said, Andrew, that one just bops right over to the hands of the shooter, and Thomas now going to get a crack at the line.
A little bit unlucky for Lynchburg for that one to just end up in his hands, but also great hustle and awareness from Thomas to keep his head up after it looked like Lynchburg had gotten the rebound to go the other way. It was kind of a interesting scene. Great initial defense and then a little bit of a fumble on that board. But either way, Thomas only makes good on 1, and we are even at 44.
Here's that high trap on the other side now from WNL as they retreat into the 1-3-1.
Gillenwater tried the long skip pass there. It was to Davis, but it was poked away, and now Washington and Lee the other direction. Thomas stepped into one. Instead, he'll drive past Davis through the contact, lays it up and in. Flex your muscles, A.J. Thomas, a great finish at the rim. Sutton, fake pass, steps in, No good, a little bit too strong. Would have been good from the three-point line, and a foul called on the floor against Washington and Lee as Mason Makovic hit the deck.
Yeah, Landon Sutton talking with the sideline right now. I understand he wanted to gather himself, collect his dribble. Thought he's just got to let that one fly from three. You take that one dribble inside the arc, that turns into one of the worst shots in basketball. And he certainly can shoot. He very well may have made the shot. But again, just might be a confidence piece. If you're Landon Sutton, you just got to go ahead and rise up and take that three.
2-point lead for Washington and Lee on the road. Lynchburg inbounding when we return, but a great finish from DeCibio and a great finish on the way here in Turner Gymnasium. You are watching Code Red on LHSN.
Hi, Mara Willis. How are you? Pretty good.
A lot of people go to the universities to find something to be a part of while getting their education. And when you come here, Lynchburg is that something, it becomes a family. It doesn't matter how long ago you had your professor, they still remember you and they remember all of the hard work that you put in. They're always there for you and they always want to do the best that they can to help you succeed. Here you learn how to love one another regardless of what's going on or what you believe. You leave here better than what you came in. It's what this school's really good at doing.
Welcome back inside Turner Gymnasium. 2-point lead for the Generals, who have picked it up a little bit on the offensive end since that first 20 minutes. Trey Gillenwater doing a great job in the second half. He's got 7 points so far for Lynchburg. Out on the floor for the Hornets, Davis, Taylor, Makovic, and Sutton. And then for Washington and Lee, Laughlin, Ryan, DeCibio, D'Entremont, and Harrell. Taylor goes up strong, no good. Back tap there, and fighting for the ball either way. Sutton went flying. It'll be Lynchburg basketball. Good tap back there from Makovic, but put Landon Sutton in a little bit of danger, but a great hustle play. We'll take another look.
Yeah, and certainly unintentional, but diving on the floor right where Sutton's running, takes his legs out from under him. Certainly, D'Entremont could have been whistled for a foul there. Lucky to have not been. And we do continue play. Again, I mean, not intentional, but that is a dangerous look there for Sutton.
It's always good to have no calls, especially in a game as strong as this one. Fighting for the rebound, jump ball, possession arrow, favoring Lynchburg, and not happy is Jack D'Entremont.
He's flustered, Andrew.
Might have thought that he had that one in his hands and Sutton tried to take it away, but it's the experience on the floor. D'Entremont, a senior. Landon Sutton, a senior as well. We'll take another look, and it honestly looks like they got it at the same time. D'Entremont pointing the direction of Washington and Lee, but the possession arrow favored the Hornets, who still trail by 2 in what has been a long possession. Gillenwater, pump fake. Hand in his face, somehow finds Elijah Davis, and they'll reset 12 to shoot. Sutton, top of the key. Takes the ball screen from Davis, who slips, has the height advantage inside. Now here's Taylor, 3 to shoot. Step back Jay, no good. That one short, and fighting for the rebound, getting it with one hand was John Laughlin. A great board, and now pushing. D'Entremont through contact, foul called against Elijah Davis. That will be his first. Still waiting for Davis to hit that one shot that will light up this gym. And with him on the floor, you never really know what's coming on the offensive end. And that one, Davis not happy, but either way, a lot of contact on that play. But it goes the same thing that we said earlier. If you're going to drive to the basket, you might as well make them earn it. And Davis did a good job of stepping into that position and forcing D'Entremont to put it up.
Yeah, and you're sending a guy to the line who's had a really rough day on the offensive end. He's been visibly aggravated on a number of occasions tonight, and I get it. I mean, it's a guy that averages 16.5 points per game. He's an all ODAC caliber player, and you're fighting to try and stay in that top 4 of the ODAC leaderboard. I mean, it matters a lot to be in that top 4. So Washington Lee really doesn't want to lose this game to a Lynchburg team that's had a rough month. I mean, six losses in a row, and 4 of those have been at home. But for Lynchburg, they're fighting for every play as well, because no better time to get right than in the last stretch of the season.
Here's a 3 from the corner. Miles Taylor a bit too strong, and the rebound corralled by D'Entremont. But this is a WNL team that sits at 9-5 in the conference, but right on their heels are 3 great ODAC teams, Bridgewater, Roanoke, and Virginia Wesleyan. A win here would go a long way to kind of secure your spot into that top 4, unless they fall on the road to Randolph-Macon. Another look here at the foul called against the Hornets. Will go against Gillenwater, I believe. Will be his 3rd.
Yeah, that last foul, we didn't quite get to it, but that did put WNL in the bonus, still with a long ways to go in this one. So if you have a Valentine's Day dinner date planned, hopefully you've already done it, because we might be here for a little bit. 9 minutes to go. And we'll see if Lynchburg can get themselves into the bonus sooner rather than later as well. Have been a little more content as we thought to take some of those 3-point shots, 9 of them already through the first 10 or 11 minutes of the second half.
Lynchburg did not get the opportunity at the free throw line quite often that they would hope, and only put up 5 free throws, and they've made good on only 2 of them. While on the other side, Washington and Lee has put up 21. That brings them to their largest lead of the evening. It's a 6-point lead for the Generals, 50-44.
And Lynchburg has taken 15 more shots than WNL has, but the Generals still able to hold on to this lead because of that disparity at the free throw line that you just mentioned, Andrew.
Long pass from Gillenwater, taken away, could not find Taylor. Now here's a big shot, pump fake, and then dishes it off. DeCibio on the drive. It will stay down here.
Danger there was the up and down call, but they're going to say hand was placed on the ball that kept him from, DeCibio that is, from being able to get rid of it. And that's probably the right call, coming in to try and make the block.
A great defensive pressure and a timeout called on the floor. Washington and Lee, their largest lead of the evening. It's 50-44. Lynchburg will have to answer when we return here on LHSN, Code Red Men's Basketball.
Want to have some outdoor adventures while getting a degree at the same time? At the University of Lynchburg, we have an on-campus zip line and road course. Plus, we offer adventure trips that cost less than a cup of coffee. And did I mention our beautiful scenery? We're a university for students looking for something more than just books. Welcome to your new adventure experience.
Welcome back inside Turner Gymnasium. 8:28 to go here on a Code Red Wednesday night. 6-point lead for the visitors from Washington and Lee, who trailed by 5 at the halftime buzzer. It's been the biggest disparity on the free throw line that I can remember for a long time in this gym. Not saying that there's any bad calls being made, just Lynchburg forced to put pressure on the driving players from Washington and Lee, and that's led to a lot of contact in the paint. Lynchburg hasn't gotten the same amount of contact on the offensive end that Washington and Lee has drawn. Step back, move, pure shot there at that shot clock buzzer. DeCibio makes good. He's up to 19 on the evening, 10 of those in the second half.
That's what we talk about. There's nothing that Taylor really could have done much better there. He had a hand right at the point of release. It just doesn't matter. DeCibio's that kind of playmaker.
Zone giving Lynchburg fits, and then a foul called on the rebound will go against Washington and Lee. Colin Ryan charged with that foul, will be his 4th foul already in this contest, and A.J. Thomas will check back into the contest. But we'll take another look at that shot there. DeCibio, just a smooth step back, and at 6'6", 210. Tough shot to block. Taylor was in the general vicinity of that, but could not get a hand up in time. 8-point lead, Faust inside. Lynchburg going back to what they know. He can't hit. And this one will be last touched by Jake Hart, and things slowly getting away here from Lynchburg. The Hornets haven't scored in over 4 minutes. It's been an 11-0 run for Washington and Lee. And it's all been because of that switch to that 1-3-1 on the defensive end. The same thing Lynchburg's throwing up.
And again, I like the decision to go to Faust out of the inbound. I know he doesn't make the shot, but you might need a little bit more of that if you're Lynchburg. We expected them to go to the 3 a little more, and they have. They've taken 10 already in the second half, but they're 2 of 10. They're just not, the shots aren't really dropping right now, and that's okay, but maybe go to where you found that success in the first half, and when where you found it in this first meeting.
Easton a 3, no good. That one just a bit too strong, but Hart on the rebound. Looked like Easton might get another look. He dishes it off to Makovic, who goes up and throws it off the backboard, but no good. But he'll get fouled and head to the free throw line to shoot 2. I believe that will be the 6th foul against Washington and Lee. So next foul will put Lynchburg at the free throw line in the bonus. Take another look at it here. Goes up strong, and I believe that foul was called against number 15, Jack D'Entremont.
Makovic starting to rack up the most important stat in basketball that is not kept. How many fouls you draw against you. He's done a very good job of that today. Again, it's not a stat we keep, but certainly an argument to be made that maybe you do, because getting those opponents in foul trouble, earning your team free throw opportunities, certainly the name of the game.
Lynchburg has done a better job of heading to the free throw line, or at least forcing W&L to foul them here in this second half than they did in the first half, but it's been clean defense from the Generals. Stepping in after a pump fake was Laughlin, and his pass will get it taken away. Taylor in transition, 2-on-2, left hand no good, Faust on the board, and a foul will be called against John Laughlin trying to get the rebound from Jonathan Faust, which will put Faust on the line to shoot a 1-and-1.
Let's go all the way back to the foul that Makovic drew. I know he only goes 1 of 2, but the fact that he got to the line allowed Lynchburg to set up that 1-3-1 again. Again, they're not going to set it up a ton in a fast break opportunity because it's not going to be super effective. You get the turnover, you come down, you earn another foul.
Under 7 media timeout, 7-point lead for Washington and Lee. Exciting finish coming in Turner Gymnasium on what has been an exciting Code Red Wednesday night. You are watching LHSN.
I learned a lot of valuable lessons playing college football. I never thought about the health benefits of exercise until I actually started to talk to coaches in college. It's not only just for performance, it's for life. My coaches instilled the importance of well-being, not only building up strength, mental health, getting enough sleep, eating properly is all what it is to be healthy. I decided that I want to go into personal trainer and share my knowledge that I obtained in college about physical and mental well-being.
Seven-point lead for Washington and Lee, but Jonathan Faust will be at the free throw line. Everyone here in Turner Gymnasium willing their Hornets on, especially Dell over there near our wonderful cheerleaders here at the University of Lynchburg, throwing up a heart for Valentine's Day. But here's Faust's first opportunity. That one a bit too deep, and an empty possession there. It was a great transition move by Taylor to get there. A great board from Jonathan Faust, but it all comes to nothing, and that leads 7 with time not on Lynchburg's side. Here's Thomas, far side wing, trying to play against that 1-3-1 zone. Thomas on the floor to Harrell. And now Thomas will get an open look. Deep three, back iron, no good, a bit too strong, and a long rebound turns into a transition opportunity. Hart to Makovic. And now Miles Taylor. Taylor with Neuenhaus on him. Has an advantage driving to the basket, but Neuenhaus has that skill to stay behind and make a great play. Makovic inside, and that was great defense. Last touch by Makovic. Looked to me like Neuenhaus did go straight up and did not earn that foul.
Reversing the call. Official first pointed Washington and Lee ball. They're going to swap it and give it back to Lynchburg. That did, I mean, it lets you be the judge at home. It's close. As both players sort of got tangled up there. Obviously Neuenhaus making the defensive play. But we will stay on this end. We'll see what Lynchburg can draw up out of the inbounds from under their own basket.
Yeah, tough one to call there, but either way, great defense from Neuenhaus. 8 to shoot for the Hornets. Makovic has Young running off a screen, a little bit of space. Driving, lifts it up with the right hand, can't finish. Goes back up and earns himself a trip to the free throw line. Great move there from the sophomore. Lynchburg, another opportunity at the line. They've done not much damage from there, 37% on the day. We'll take another look at that rebound. Went up through the contact, couldn't finish, but 2 opportunities at the free throw line are just as good. It stops the clock and gives the Hornets an opportunity to score without any kind of time running off, because time is not their friend at the moment.
Well, Lynchburg, they've done a good job the last several possessions of getting to the line, and that's obviously the first key, but now trying to be a little more selective as much as you can be and who you're getting there, because when it's Makovic, a 46% shooter, Ross 51%, Faust 50%, you're a little more comfortable with somebody around 70% like Pearson Young.
Makes good on both of them. 5-point lead. Thomas in the corner, met with a double team, trying to win that possession arrow, but Hillary Scott calling for a travel, and Washington and Lee calling for a timeout, but we will stay right here for this one. 5-point lead for Washington and Lee. Sam, I mean, Lynchburg has found a couple of successes here in the last couple of minutes, but it's all come from the free throw line.
Well, and now they're in the bonus, so hopefully they can buckle up and get a little comfortable there, because honestly, when you think about getting back into this game, you don't want to be picky. Take it wherever you can get it. If it's at the free throw line, let it be at the free throw line. Obviously, Lynchburg, they're going to have to make a slightly higher percentage. 50% on the game is not going to get it done. You're just not going to win a lot of games like that, and certainly not a lot of games where you're trying to come from behind. So first and foremost, keep up what you're doing at getting to the line, but probably not going to get there every single possession. The shot selection's got to be huge down the stretch here. Down by 5, again, that's only a 2-possession game, but you can get yourself out of this game really quickly with turnovers and bad shots. Lynchburg's got to be really careful, really methodical with their offensive play.
Lynchburg has done a good job the last couple of possessions of moving it around the perimeter, trying to create space on the drive, and obviously that's led to those free throw opportunities. But, every once in a while, maybe you'd expect some more threes to fall for Lynchburg, shooting only 28% from behind the arc in this contest. A lot of that might be that perimeter defense for Washington and Lee. Harrell does well to keep it in, but nearly turns it over on a pass. DeCibio, space, kick, Thomas for 3. Rattles around and through at the shot clock buzzer. A good answer and a great shot from A.J. Thomas. He is up to 6 points on the evening.
That's a killer for Lynchburg. You get all the way down to the end of the shot clock. Just 1 second left when he releases that, and then it rattles in. Even got a hand in his face with Miles Taylor.
Taylor a look to respond to deep, and a rebound into the hands of D'Entremont. So now things not looking great for Lynchburg on the offensive end. It's been a while. But Faust maybe trying to will his team on. A great block gets the majority of the students on their feet here in Turner Gymnasium.
And they need to stay there for the rest of this game. Got to get them on their feet with those big plays. Lynchburg doesn't have many of those dagger-type plays in this game. You know, a well-timed three or a rim-rocking dunk. Just haven't been a lot of that. Maybe that can be a little bit of a spark, a strong block.
Young fighting for it with DeCibio. Last touch might have been off Washington and Lee. And it was. Fighting for it. Pearson Young putting pressure on the other 33 on the floor. Lynchburg basketball, great job on defense by the Hornets. But Lynchburg has missed 15 of their last 16 shots, including 9 of their last 10 from 3. We'll take another look here. Last touch off of Washington and Lee. You kind of saw it live, and it looked like D'Entremont might have went for it, but either way, 8-point deficit, Lynchburg ball, 4:42 remaining. We'll see the remainder of this contest when we return on LHSN.
When creating a sustainable future, your choices matter, even your choice of a college. The University of Lynchburg is the first college in Virginia to go carbon neutral. Our dining hall is Green Restaurant certified. We compost all of our food waste and purchase our electricity from landfill gas. Now we're turning a hazardous lake into a thriving urban wetland. When you choose Lynchburg, you leave a smaller footprint while building a better tomorrow.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
Take another look at that three there from A.J. Thomas, willing his team along 6 points on the evening, and it seems like he's hit the big shot almost every single time down the floor. But it's Lynchburg ball, a little bit of momentum on their side after that turnover. O'Connor trapped in the corner, long kick, Young, space. Now here's Taylor, baseline up strong, left hand, off the glass, clean finish, cuts that lead to 6.
Been a tough shooting night for Miles Taylor. He's gone up against a lot of physicality. Good job hanging in the air and sticking it for that one.
DeCibio, far side wing, moving it with the left hand. Now Harrell, pump fake, met with 3 Lynchburg defenders closing in. DeCibio, 4-3, makes good on that one, and Washington and Lee knocking it down when it means the most. Have hit a couple of huge three-point jumpers in the last couple of possessions. They have their largest lead of the contest, up by 9. How can Lynchburg respond?
It's the 15th 20-point game for DeCibio of this season, 41st of his illustrious career.
O'Connor no good, and then a foul called on the floor against Lynchburg as John Laughlin is slow to get up, hit the deck relatively hard. Will go against Pearson Young, his 3rd foul on the evening.
Field goal disparity in the game has grown to 18 now for Lynchburg, but the shot's just not falling. I mean, 19 of 65, 29% from the field, slightly worse, 26% from 3. It's just been one of those nights on the offensive end. There's still time to string it together. We'll see if over these last 3:46, Lynchburg can crack the code on this Washington and Lee defense.
Just a 9-point lead right now for the Generals, but opportunity at the free throw line with a 1-and-1. First one up, rims around and down. John Laughlin knocks that one down. Laughlin on the day, that's just his first point of the contest. But it's a Washington and Lee team that has shot great from that free throw line. Makes good on that one, and they're 22 for 25 in this contest. Lynchburg only shooting 50% from the line, but the biggest disparity isn't the percentage, it's how many have been taken. They've only taken 10 in this contest as compared to the 25 for Washington and Lee. Inside, Davis, that one tipped away by the Generals, and now time really not on Lynchburg's side. Under 3:30 to go, An 11-point lead for a General team looking to secure themselves a top 4 seed in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference.
Not only that, a 10-win season in one of the best conferences in Division III basketball.
Laughlin a 3, and he hits. That one the dagger for Washington and Lee. Laughlin had no points before he headed to the free throw line the last time down the floor, and now makes good on a 3-pointer. He's got 5.
Lynchburg's got to find a sense of urgency. No urgency even getting the ball in as the clock continued to roll.
Davis inside O'Connor. Right hand up, back iron no good, and Harrell got way up to get that board. And the call will stay down here with Lynchburg.
Hornets might have caught a break there. I thought it went off the leg of one of the Hornets players, but again, you take what you can get. Some go your way, some don't. This part of the game really can't stand to argue it. Just got to be happy, but we're going to get a discussion from the officials first.
Take another look. It might have been off the back of O'Connor's leg, but really tough to see in that traffic there under the basket. You honestly would much rather stick with your original call, especially when review is not available. Still a little bit of discussion here, however. We'll see what this is about. Maybe an issue with the shot clock.
Nonetheless, we are going to have third opportunity from under their own basket here for Lynchburg. Thought the first play they ran from under here to Jonathan Faust was a good one. He didn't make the shot. We'll see if we get a cut to the basket. WNL does a good job to seal that opportunity off.
Washington and Lee has picked it up on the defensive end. Gillenwater, little step back Jay gives Lynchburg a little bit of life, cuts the lead to 12. But if you're Washington and Lee, you're almost happy to just wait it out, take a shot late in the shot clock. You'll be under 2 minutes to go by the time they do. Harrell dancing past Davis. Now DeCibio space, hesitation, loses the handle, and a travel called against the senior. A good defensive stand for Lynchburg.
Did look like he was bobbling the ball a little bit, but again, going down the court, he got tangled up a bit with Pearson Young. So again, there's stuff going both ways. You know, like I said, you're going to win some, you're not going to win some. Just play the game the way the officials call it.
You always love when the game is called relatively clean. Especially it just lets these guys play. Gillenwater, space, pull up, mid-range Jay, no good. Rebound into the hands of Ryan. It was tipped away by Hart, but no further than Robert DeCibio. 12-point lead. Gillenwater nearly took it away. Washington and Lee keen to slow down the pace as we tick closer and closer to 90 seconds to go. Inside, D'Entremont, right hand, and a foul called before that. Either way, whether it's a 1-and-1 or before the foul, or before the shot, it will be an opportunity at the free throw line to shoot 2.
That was a great possession there for Washington and Lee. Being able to get that shot clock all the way down to 10. Every second that comes off the clock is a win for your team with 12, now a 13-point lead. And then to draw the foul there at the end of it's even better when you're in the double bonus.
D'Entremont has not hit a basket from the field today, but will have the opportunity to go 8 for 8 from the free throw line. And he converts on that one. He has 8 points this evening for the Generals. And they just further their lead that has really stemmed from that free throw stripe. Davis gets it in to Hart, a little bit of pressure, but all of it falls from the Generals. Hart taking his time, 14-point lead, might be out of reach here. Floater with the left hand, too strong. O'Connor tips it back. Gillenwater steps into one, that one offline as well. Another offensive board, and Jake Hart puts it back up and in, and we'll get a timeout on the floor. 1:13 remaining, 12-point lead for the Washington and Lee Generals. Big time in this contest. We'll take a break, and we'll see the rest of this game when we return on LHSN. Welcome back inside of Turner Gymnasium. A.J. Thomas hit a couple of big threes for Washington and Lee throughout this contest to bring them to where they are now. 12-point lead, and now Lynchburg will apply a little bit of pressure, but it's all been that man right there, Robert DeCibio. 22 points on the evening, and even 50% from the field, 2 for 4 from behind the arc. And he leads the way right at his average. Washington and Lee breaks the press easy, and a foul called against Pearson Young, just trying to put Harrell at the free throw line.
Lynchburg's going to need a big push and some help from their opponents down the stretch here if they want to avoid a 5th straight loss inside this building. Season that started so promising at home, 5-1 at the outset. Last win was December 19th against Center.
Harrell at the line, a 70% free throw shooter, misses the front end of 2 shots. Still an uphill battle for Lynchburg, but that miss helps just a little bit for a team that can get hot from behind the arc. Even though they're only shooting 25% today, 6 for 24. And speaking of shooting from behind the arc, Elijah Davis will check into the contest.
If you believe or subscribe to the he's due theory, then certainly say that for Elijah Davis. It's been tough today, 0 of 5 from the floor, 0 of 4 from 3. It'd be a great time to knock down his first of the night.
Here's the opportunity, falling away, 3-pointer short, rebound Hart. Goes up through the contact, he'll draw the foul. Elijah Davis struggling just a little bit from behind the arc in recent games. Going back to that Guilford one, hit one of the most electric shots that we've seen in this gym all year in transition. But Jake Hart has really been the guy today for Lynchburg. You take out the points, Hart has only 5, but I mean, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks. I mean, that's a pretty full night for Jake Hart.
Just another night at the office for the freshman. Again, you talk about guys that have a bright career in front of them. Some very young, promising talent when you look at the underclassmen for this Lynchburg team. Jason Easton, Pearson Young, Trey Gillenwater, Jake Hart. These are players that are going to grow through these next several seasons. And still, even when you look at the juniors, a lot of guys that will be coming back after this year.
Gillenwater a 3 after an offensive rebound, cuts the lead to just 9 with 52 seconds left. But yeah, to your point, I mean, it's such a young team when you look at it. You got a couple of guys who still have a couple years of eligibility left out on the floor right now. I mean, really the core stays for the next couple of years here in Turner Gymnasium.
Yeah, I mean, Miles Taylor, he's, still got that extra year should he choose to take it. Landon Sutton, it would be the same. Mason Makovic, just a junior. You go up and down the lineup, DeAndre Ross, a junior. There's a lot of guys that are going to be back here next year. And again, obviously, this has been a bit of a disappointing season, especially the way it started. But when you zoom out and you look at last year, a 6-19 campaign, it's a team that's won 4 more games, and they've still got the opportunity to stack up some more. They're into the ODAC tournament. They got a home game against Averett this weekend. That's a team they beat on the road, so certainly a winnable one there. So this is a Lynchburg team that's taken a lot of growth this year, but again, growth, it's not a perfect line. You're not always just going to go straight from a tough season like last year to immediately being at the top of the ODAC. And this tough stretch, the 6-game losing skid, just happens to also be against some of the best teams, not only in the conference, but in the country. You look at on this streak of games, they've played Guilford, they've played Randolph-Macon, Hampton-Sydney, Washington and Lee, Roanoke twice. I mean, it's just a gauntlet of these last 7 or 8 games or so. And this is a Lynchburg team, again. They've had some really great performances that they've come up just short in. You think about the Guilford one most recently. That was a 13-point game. Wasn't really a 13-point game. I mean, that's one that was more like a 1-possession, 2-possession type feel that just with free throws at the end got a little bit out of hand.
It's a Lynchburg team that I do believe is locked into the ODAC tournament, so they still will have that opportunity. But their first game will be as that either 9 or 10 seed heading on the road in the first round of what is going to be a very exciting couple days of basketball. When you just think about the top end of this conference, I mean, you add Washington and Lee to that space, and a couple of great teams behind them, Bridgewater, Roanoke. You never really know what could happen, and even the 9 or 10 seed Ferrum, a team who was undefeated before they came into this building. They were 7-0. You never really know where the winner of the ODAC is going to come from. So just earning a spot into the tournament is a positive sign.
And we won't forget Shenandoah either. You know, it started out 12-0. It's gotten a little bit tough for them as well. Lynchburg, a big road win in their building earlier this season, the Hornet Bowl, if you will. But yeah, it's a deep conference, but everybody's got the same opportunity once they get to Salem. And you know, for Lynchburg, might have an opportunity to try and get comfortable there, because as it lines up right now, and there's a lot of jostling that can happen in the middle of the order, but they would go to Roanoke for that first campus game for the first round. Again, Roanoke's team that's streaking right now could certainly put themselves in the top 6, but could be an extra game in Salem for the Hornets.
Washington and Lee's next contest in Ashland, Virginia, taking on Randolph-Macon. Elijah Davis, fall away, knocks down the 3, cuts it to 8. Lynchburg much more efficient from behind the arc. DeCibio dishes it off, but the foul given before he dished it to his teammate. So an 8-point lead. Lynchburg has answered on the offensive end, but still uphill battle, 43 seconds, 8-point deficit.
Statistically speaking, you'll take that swing. If they applied the foul to D'Entremont, giving up a 5% swing in free throw percentage. Excuse me, it's actually, I got my numbers wrong. Is that 33 or 32? That is DeCibio, right?
That is DeCibio at the free throw.
Okay, then yeah, it's a 5% swing if he gets it out to D'Entremont.
Either way, DeCibio puts up his 25th point of the night and an opportunity to bring the lead back up to double digits. He makes good. Lynchburg has made a couple of threes here down the stretch through some heavy contests on the perimeter. Gillenwater might get another look here. Instead, DeHart, 33 seconds, 3-2 deep, and that one rebounded by DeCibio. We'll see if they apply the foul or not. They might just back off, and they do. They'll find Colin Ryan and now DeCibio, and they'll let it run all the way down, maybe about a second difference between shot clock and game clock. But Lynchburg played really well in the first half. They led by 5 at that halftime break. And coming out of that break, DeCibio picked it up. He had 9 in the first half. He'll finish with 26, 10 of 10 from the free throw line. And that's how this game will end. A 10-point win for Washington and Lee. They'll clinch themselves a spot near the top of the order in the ODAC tournament.
Yeah, well, and you know, you look at the splits as well. Washington and Lee improves to 5-5 on the road, and they say you can win all of your home games and you split your road games, you're on your way to a pretty good season. And Washington and Lee pretty close to that. They've only lost 2 at home so far. So this is a Generals team. Watch out for them. They could certainly be dangerous as we get into Salem in just about a week's time.
Great performance on the road for DeCibio. Even without one of their leading scorers, D'Entremont having the best night. He went 8 points, 8 for 8 from the free throw line, and that's where the biggest disparity in this contest was. Lynchburg shoots 50%. They go 6 for 12 from the stripe. Washington and Lee complete opposite, 29 of 32. A 20 free throw disparity in this one, but it did not make a difference. Gillenwater had a great night, knocked down a couple of huge shots. He led the way with 12 points, 2 for 5 from behind the arc, but nothing led the way for Lynchburg other than Robert DeCibio, who dominated this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough loss. The losing streak continues here for Lynchburg, but again, like we were just talking a couple of minutes ago, you have Averett coming into your gym on Saturday. One last opportunity to protect your house, get to 6-6 and even 500 at home on the year. I think that's a little bit of a win, and certainly much better to go into the ODAC tournament on a 1-game win streak than an 8-game losing streak. So I think that's a really important game. Hopefully we have a big turnout. It's a doubleheader on Saturday. The women will be around here as well, and hopefully see if Lynchburg can pick up a couple big wins right before tournament play gets going.
Well, Lynchburg falls by a score of 70-60 to the Washington and Lee Generals. From Andrew Watson, Sam Graham, and the entire LHSN staff, we thank you for joining us on your Valentine's night. Great contest, but Washington and Lee comes away with the win We will see you on Saturday in Turner Gymnasium in softball, getting their season started over on Moon Field on Saturday. Thank you for watching.